Hello, today we have Patricia Dixon, who is a bloodhound author, currently living in Manchester with her husband. She's currently written 14 novels, the most recent was Resistance. Hi Trish, even. Thanks for joining me. And would you like to tell us more about your books and your journey to becoming an author?
Right, well, obviously I'm from God's own country, Manchester, the blue side. It's very, very important that you know that. And I started writing in 2013, and because I'm really, really impatient, I just thought, I'm just going to self-publish. I didn't have the time to wait around for people to get back to me. That's just how so I self-published, and then in 2017, I was headhunted by Bloodhound. I got the golden email from Betsy saying that she'd like to work with me, which was just like the best thing ever. And really sort of like from that point, everything changed. And I got a 2-book deal and then a 3-book deal. But the best part about it is they're really good. Like I'll pitch what I want to do and then I can go with it. They give me quite a lot of freedom, really. So even though I've always done my own thing, they've allowed me to carry on doing my own thing, which is really great for me. So like I say, I've got quite a few under my belt now.
Your Destiny series is set primarily in France. Was there any reason for that?
Yeah, that was, we've got a holiday home there, which we've had since 2004. And I just absolutely love it there. It's one of my favourite places. And we've met quite a lot of people. And I just thought, if I'm going to write about something, I'm going to write about, to start off with what, somewhere that I know about, somewhere that I can describe and the people that I've met along the way. So that's where I started with the Destiny series. And then other books along the way, I've included France, the one I've just written that's coming out in February. That's set in England and in France. So yeah, just try and combine what I know, really. It's gone down quite well, actually.
Yeah, it's given me a different appreciation of France, actually. It makes me really want to go to where you've written about. So yeah, it does have an effect.
Yeah, that's nice. A lot of people say that with the Destiny series, so many Rosie and Ruby's hotel, where they work and everything, so many people have emailed me and said, does it actually exist? Because I'd really like to go there. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'd like to go. I sort of invented a place for myself that I would really, really like to go. But yeah, it's sometimes you get a little gem like that, and you've got to stay with it because people just really. That's why it's in like the Christmas book as well, because it's such a escape, somewhere to escape to, really, isn't it? In another world.
Are you planning to write any more of those, or is that it?
No, not at the moment. No, people ask me all the time. So what I'm focusing on now is more like romantic suspense. Whereas I can, if I want to incorporate France, I can do. So I'm giving people a little bit of what they like, that the sort of like the French experience, but staying away from pure romance or family sagas. It's more romantic suspense, and I want to try and sort of like focus on that now. That's the way I'm going for the future.
So far, you've written in quite a few different genres. Is it hard to switch between them?
Truthfully, no, because as I said earlier, I'm quite lucky that Betsy gives me the freedom to write the things that, if I get an idea, that's it, and it's in my head, and it doesn't particularly matter which genre it's in. That is the story that I want to write. So I'm lucky that she lets me do that, and up to now, they've done really, really well. So no, I think going from, and I've got quite a cross section of fans as well. From the earlier books to the psychological fiction, and sort of like I've tempted a few fans over from the dark side to the light side and vice versa, you see. So it works quite well, really. Even the historical fiction, that was a bit of a risk, but I just, it's gone down quite well.
I think it's gone down better than quite well.
Well, I'm trying to be modest.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite books of this year. So.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh no. Oh, to be honest, if I'm honest, I've been so blown away by the response from it because it was my lockdown book, and but when I finished it, I thought, do you know what? I'm really, really pleased with this, but really well received. So I'm really proud of that book. I really am.
Yeah, which is Resistance, isn't it? And
yeah.
And it's set during World War II, and I wondered if that was something that interested you.
Well, what it is, back to where we've got the house. When we've been sort of like travelling about and everything, it was sort of like a resistance stronghold. Like even if you go into the town, into Chateaubriand, there's a museum there, the Resistance Museum, and people who you meet along the way, they'll tell you like little stories. I put in the book, do you remember the little bit in the book about the house where they used to hide the airmen, and in the wardrobe there was a hole? Well, I've actually been to that house and seen the wardrobe, you know, with the hole that goes into the thing. And there's just so many places around. So that's what I've included in the book, the places that are real, that were actually used in the war. I sound a little bit fanciful, but it was as though that they were telling me to write that book for years and years and years, but I didn't feel it was the right time. I thought I just had to wait, because I knew it takes a lot of research and a lot of hard work. And then when I'd finished Me Too, I spoke to Betsy on the phone. She rang me up, and that's my publisher. And I thought, I'm going to pitch this historical fiction book to her and see what she said. And she absolutely loved the idea. And she said to me, but I want you to make it relevant for now. So I got off the phone and I thought, how can I make a story about the past relevant now? And that's when I thought about Dottie and about how someone from that, how it affected her life and how it's affecting her now and her granddaughter now. So that's when that's when I knew. Then I thought, right, I've got this. I can do it. So I just went for it.
So, you wrote. You just mentioned Me Too, which you wrote with Anita Waller. What was that like?
Oh no, that was Liars. That was Liars.
Oh, Liars, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like co-writing a book together?
It was the best fun ever. I was writing Me Too, and Anita was writing Gamble. And we just had, obviously, I don't know if you've seen the transcripts of the conversation that we had when I was in a bad mood one day, and she just came up with this idea. She said, oh, well, let's write a book together. I went, do you want to? And it was the weirdest thing. And we just did. And we wrote it sort of in between writing our other books. And I just off Anita and vice versa. And it was just like that. But what I think it is when you, in my opinion, when you're writing a co-authored book, it's got to be the right subject. It's got to be the right, like say if you was an actress looking for a script, it's got to fit. And it was just such a perfect story. These two friends writing letters to each other. And I think that is the premise of the book, worked so well. And really all we had to do was like colour in. And it was at the beginning of the book, we actually genuinely had no idea what we were writing to each other. I started it off and sent Anita a letter, and she had and then she'd send me one back, and it was like, oh, this has happened. And then, but then we got so far in, and we said, right, got we're going to do letters, and it just was fun ever. It was brilliant. Really enjoyed it. We laughed so much. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I was talking to John Richter, and Duncan Brockwell's expressed an interest in writing a book with him. So I suggested reading Liars as a good example of a book done well, like two authors.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's nice.
And he asked me if I could tell who'd written what bits, and I was like, well, I can, because I've written everything by both, read everything by both, but not necessarily if you haven't, but I could tell which chapters are which.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you've read my books, you've read Anita's books, I think the way I write and the way Anita writes, you will be able to tell, like someone like yourself will think, that's Trish, that's Anita. Yeah. Whereas the other brilliant part about it is that if you haven't, people have said it's quite seamless. Because the two characters are so different, but they're meant to be different. They're not meant to be the same. So it worked. It just worked so brilliant. It was just all, and it's done so well, that book. We never miss it. We just leave it to get on with itself, and it's done really well for both of us. Yeah, we're very proud of it, like proud grandparents of that book.
As you should be. And would you consider co-writing with anyone else?
Yeah, definitely. If say, to kind of say the right script came along, definitely. And between me and thee, there are little rumblings of an idea with a certain person. So just watch this space.
Ooh,
I'm not saying who. But she knows who she is.
I wonder if I could guess, but
yeah.
You said about writing resistance during lockdown, and Kerry Beavis said that you were her massive support, and vice versa. Do you think you would have struggled to write it without her help or anyone's help?
I think both. We were basically we were like little writing buddies, really, and it was the weirdest time. I think it was for everybody, but in different ways. But because you're so focused on a book, but it was like this thing was going on the outside. This thing that kept dragging your attention back, and it was really hard. My attention did wander quite a lot, so it was really good to have that focus of someone saying, "How much have you written today? Where are you up to? Send me that chapter. Send me this chapter." And yeah, it did keep us really, really focused. But at the same time, also having somebody who sort of knows the process of writing, and having someone there to talk to and have a laugh with, because we just send each other stupid messages and this, that, and the other. And it was a really good distraction, and she did help me through it. In fact, so much so that I just really don't ever want to go back to work ever again. And what I'm thinking of doing is actually resigning on her behalf, writing a letter to a boss and just saying, "Hi, it's Kerry. I'm never coming back to work again. Just send me a check and I'll see you, bye." I don't think she'll know. I don't think she'd realise it was me.
No, maybe your secret's out now. Just maybe.
Oh, it's just between me and you, Donna. There's nobody listening. Don't worry about it.
Not yet, anyway. What book have you read most recently that's made you cry?
Right, I'm going to be honest with you now. I am the worst person for remembering titles of books. Dreadful. I'm the slowest reader, honestly. It takes me ages to read a book. I don't know what I do in my life, to be quite honest, but it takes ages to read. And it was the one by Amanda Proud. I think it was called The Things I Know. And it was about, if you read it, about a young girl who lives on a farm. Oh, cried my eyes out over that book. Absolutely cried my eyes out. But I love Amanda's writing. She's just one of my favourite authors. But yeah, it was Things I Know by Amanda Proud. Brilliant book, absolutely brilliant. It was funny, but really poignant at the same time. It was a brilliant story. Yeah. And the first one was Northanger Abbey that made me cry. When I was at school. First book that ever made me cry. I thought it was really sad.
I don't think I've read that either. Can't remember.
Yeah. One of the classics.
I had Amanda's onto my TBR, which is insane.
Yeah, put her on the list.
Yeah. All I have is lists. Just constant lists.
Oh, I did things to do lists.
Oh, I can't be doing that. I'd never get it done. Which of your books would you most like to be a character in?
Tenley House, The Secrets of Tenley House, simply because when I wrote that, because I started off in fashion, that was my job previously, before I had the kids. I just thought, oh, do you know what? I'd really like to write a book set in the past where I can describe all the clothes, the 60s and 70s, and really get into that sort of like 70s vibe. And so that, because if I just like to be like an extra, but like mince about in, like a big blonde wig, big beehive blonde wig I'd like, with a big psychedelic dress, so you can see it, and the boots, I've got it all planned out, you see. Yeah, so Secrets of Tenley House, only because it starts in the 60s and brings you up to present day, really. So you'd get all the eras, really, and so it'd be quite good. Yeah, that one.
Would you like to see that in a film then? And then you can have a little cameo.
Yeah, it'd be in the contract. Trish has to bring a tray of tea in, wearing a beehive. Yeah, that's what I'd be in, definitely.
Awesome.
As long as I didn't kill myself off, which would be just dreadful, wouldn't it? That would be a bit of a, that's a bit of a tragedy, I suppose.
Do you hide any secrets in your book or any jokes that only a few people will get?
Oh yes, of course I do. Of course I do. What book was it? Me Too. Anita Waller gave me a word that I had to use. Recalcitrant. I think that's what it was. Yeah, that was the word. I don't know if I've said it right. So we had to look at what it meant, and I actually got it in and sent us the paragraph on. Did it? But no, I use a lot of the times I use like my grandma and granddad's names, and surnames or people and little things that have happened, little phrases maybe people have said to me. And in the Destiny series and in Me Too especially, there are quite a few little messages to certain people, and in the Destiny series, messages to my kids and to my husband, and that only they would particularly understand. Yeah, so. Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, you have to read them all again now, won't you? Find out what
they are. I will. I've saved the Christmas ones, like you said, so I'll read them.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. Oh, definitely in Grace. Definitely, there's a message in Grace.
Okay, I'll have to read it more carefully then. I'll message you at the end. Was it?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy interacting with your readers on social media? And do you think the immediate response has been beneficial?
Yes. Yeah. To be honest, it's one of the best parts of the job, because without Facebook, I always think, I wonder what it was like before we had Facebook. How did authors in the olden days actually interact with the fans? They must have had to write letters to their agents or to the publisher, and they'd pass them on to the. But now it's just like with yourself. It's so brilliant that we can talk about our books, and when people have read a book, they'll message you or they'll put a little post on Facebook, and it's just a brilliant way to get that feedback and reaction. And I've made so many lovely friends, through Facebook. Genuine friends. I mean, you meet some odd ones too. I will admit that there's some cranks out there. However, once you filter those out and you get the nice people, it's just brilliant. It really is brilliant, because it's like a two-way street. Like they help me, and that hopefully I give them friendship and good books to read, and we have a laugh, don't we, as well? That's the main thing. We've laughed a lot.
Yeah. So what would you say then if anyone is nervous to message an author? I've seen a couple of things saying, oh, I'm never sure whether to post because I don't know if I'm bothering them and stuff like that.
No, you know what? I think it's how you do it, to be quite honest. I mean, the one thing that really annoys authors, and I'm speaking for people that I know, is when you get a friend request, you accept it, and then 2 minutes later you get, please like my page. Oh, that is so annoying, because then that they're not really contacting you because they want to connect. They want you to. So that's a big no-no if you're going down that street. But genuinely, if you're a reader or a fan and you want to connect with an author, a little short message, either via Facebook or Messenger or however, it's just such a lovely thing to receive. And then the author can sort of like respond and start up a conversation. So no, I just don't be frightened of doing it, because we absolutely look. It's like reviews. People think, oh, they don't matter, reviews, but reviews really do matter. And we love getting them, nice ones obviously, but we do love getting them, and it's just feedback. It just makes you feel that there's somebody out there, and you're getting that reaction from people who've read your book. So no, never. Well, in my case, don't ever be shy of like contacting me.
No.
Personal invitation, they personally invited you all to message me as soon as I get off. We're there all day.
Yeah. If you were to ask your favourite author 3 questions about their books, writing or writing process, what would you ask them?
Oh, do they ever worry about running out of ideas? Because for me, that is one of those things. I'm thinking, what will I do if one day I get up and it's just like a barren desert and there's just nothing there? So I'd ask them, do they worry about not being able to think of an idea? I'm trying to think what another question would be. Perhaps, what book would they advise me to read, or what book have they enjoyed so much, or something a book that they've learned from or that inspired them? You know, what would they read? And I'd like to know as well, what was their highest moment as an author? You know, what is the thing that it's up there and it was the day when they thought, this is just a brilliant day, you know, something to do with the writing. So I think I'd ask them those things, yeah. What's
been your highest moment as an author?
Genuinely, well, can I have 2? The first one was which is a bit of a cheat, was when I published my first book, because I can still remember it was on 2nd January, and my son did all the technical stuff and everything, and we both pushed the publish button for Anna together, and we counted down and pushed the button, and that's sort of like the beginning of things, really, when it was just like, oh my God, I've actually done it. And then the day when Betsy emailed me, that was it. I remember going to bed I just couldn't get to sleep, thinking, oh, I just can't believe it. It was just the best moment, and I absolutely love working with Bloodhound. They're a brilliant publisher, and they've changed my life. They really, really have. So yeah, that's up there.
Miss Kerry Beavis.
Oh God, no.
Do I
need to get a crucifix? Do I get my crucifix, my Bible out? This question.
I think it's an okay question. She would like to know, if you were to cast Me Too, Grace and Over My Shoulder, which Bloodhound authors would you get to play Billy and Stan, Grace and Max, Freya and Kane?
Right, so let's start with the first one. So Billy and
Stan.
Billy and Stan, the Bloodhound authors. I think I'd get Kerry to play Billy, because she's quite feisty as Kerry, and I reckon that she'd be able to go out there and sort things out for Stan. For Stan, let's go John Richter, because I know she'd like me. Yeah, Kerry and John. So who's the next ones?
Grace and Max.
God, Grace and Max. Grace. Oh, this is a really tough question. I'm trying to picture all the authors in my head now that I'm trying to think. I'll come back to that one. What's the next one?
Freya and Kane.
Oh, Freya and Kane. I think Freya's going to have to be someone quite sensitive. I'd go, actually. I think I'd pick this is a really tough question. Maybe Susie Tullet, and for Kane, someone who has like a really dark side in the books. It'd have to be someone really, really dark. Let's go Duncan, because I reckon he could be a really bad baddie. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other 2, Judith Baker, because she's such a lovely person, and I can imagine her in the cottage getting the Christmas dinner ready. And for Max, I think I'm going to give Judith let's give Judith, who would you say? Oh, let's give her Tony Forder. Judith and Tony sit in a tree.
Lucky Tony. He loves all the attention. He's such a...
Oh, I know.
He's such a lovely guy. Yeah. If you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would you use?
Oh, God. Direct. I can be very direct and I'd say what I think, which probably gets me into trouble quite a lot, but at least I always think people know where they stand with me. So, yeah, I'm quite direct. Loyal, really loyal to my friends, do anything for them, and I always stand by them. Yeah, and I think the other one would be a chatterbox, or as a certain person whose name starts with K, probably a gobby mank. You can do which one you want. Chatterbox, gobby mank. I'm not really bothered. Go on.
When this horrible, stupid, crazy situation is over, there's no restrictions, what's your perfect day? I'd
have to, again, either or, it's a bit of a cheat, but being France, perfect day is the day where in the summer, because in the summer the kids all come like either a week together or 2 weeks, sort of like in stages, but we always have a week when we're all together, and it's that day that I've been waiting for all year, because I do wait for it all year, and my husband absolutely says it makes his day when he hears the kids in the garden all together. So my perfect day would be the day when the kids all turn up and they're all together, and then we stay up really, really late and sit around the wood burner and we just watch the stars. Or another perfect day would be in the house in France in winter with the fire on. Just drop my glasses. With the fire on, reading, glass of wine, and then going to Dominique and Sophia's for my tea, because they make the best teas in the world. So that's it. That's my perfect day.
Nice.
Or 2 perfect days.
Yeah. Miss Kerry Beavis again. Would like to know what the strangest thing you've ever put in a carry bag is, or in a plastic bag.
You know what? If I could have had £1 million, if I had £1 million, I would have put that down as a bet. What is the strangest thing? Okay, then the strangest thing I've ever put in a carry bag is poo, actually. So there you go, and that's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, with Kerry.
You should not ask now, don't you, Donna? I bet you're thinking, why did he ask that stupid question? Well,
I was intrigued, and with Kerry, it had to be something like that. She talked about poo as well, so it's fine.
Yeah. It's mine and Kerry's possibly most favourite subject after books. Yeah. So there you go. Yes, it's.
Well, if you've got a friend you can talk about that stuff with, that's good.
Oh, it's just perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, where can we find out more about you and your books?
You can, well, on my Amazon page, or you can go on Twitter, or obviously Facebook. I've got a Facebook page as well, and I've got one of those TikTok things, but I haven't got a clue how to use that. And Instagram, not too bad on Instagram. I'm getting the hang of that. So that's it, really. Just those places. Go on Amazon. I'm there.
Awesome. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's been lovely talking to you, Donna. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been fun.
You're very welcome.
All right, bye.